No. Your belief is that the uncaused cause doesn't need to be intelligent, doesn't need to, fashion or design or create, but it just does it somehow.
Just be a spark.
Just with a spark.
No, but the qualities of something existing uncaused are far superior to anything that we know. Would you accept if something is uncaused, it's all powerful?
No.
No, it's not.
It's just cause. It's like a spark. It might be a spark.
Okay, let's get down to basics then. I want you to provide evidence that your rationality is a reliable tool to use to make any conclusions. As a first basis, please do that.
Let's drill down into your claim. You said a spark could cause the universe, yeah? Is that spark caused or uncaused?
A little spark creates trillions and trillions of stars, billions of galaxies.
Oh, nice.
Hold on a second. From a little spark, and you're telling us that we're illogical and irrational?
They committed genocide, killed men, women, children, took little girls into slavery. Okay. So all of this stuff, would you like tea or coffee? So all of this stuff, if you say that disqualifies him being a prophet, anyway, you get the point?
Yeah, I do, yeah. There's actually a 1,000 years of debate and discourse over just war in Islam.
Oh, say it again, sorry?
There's about 1,000. There's 1,000 years of debate and discourse over just war. It isn't just dependent upon those early.
No. But what the Quran,
upon the Quran.
But what the Quran does, it tells you how to behave in situations.
Yes.
So in a situation of warfare, you have a mandate. You fight those who fight you.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. There's a verse that says oppression is worse than slaughter. So rather than allow yourself to be oppressed, it's better for you to fight for your freedom.
Yes.
Trouble is though.
Yeah. Because oppression is worse than slaughter.
What
You're living in subjugation.
So two people who disagree with each other, they both think they're being oppressed
Who's
by
that?
the other. Then you have conflict.
Say it again, sorry.
So suppose you have two different religious groups.
Right.
And they're not getting on. Then you end up with war. So often.
Okay. Do you watch football?
Yeah.
You watch football. Okay. When you're watching a live football match, right? Wait for the away team to have a corner, and just look at all the guys around the corner's flag, all the home fans. All right. Man doesn't need religion to fight each other. Man will fight each other over football. Man will fight each other over ice. Man will fight each other over anything. In London, we have a problem. People will fight over postcodes. What's your postcode? Oh, I'm E6. I'm E1. And you have a fight. All right. Man doesn't need no excuses. So don't act that it's only religion where there's conflict. No, there's conflict when people disagree everywhere. Yeah.
Nature of man.
That's it. Every war is a theatre of money and power, and religion might get thrown in the mix as the excuse. But you hear Christians today saying, "Oh, we're humble, oh kumbaya, oh we love everyone, Jesus loves you." Do you know why they say that? Because they don't have the power. And we know that because when Christianity did have the power, they slaughtered everyone. I was watching Guy Fawkes last night. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? Gunpowder Plot.
No.
Oh. What the Protestants did to the Catholics. I mean, in England, I watched this woman, because she harboured a priest, a Catholic priest, on the edict of King James, yeah, they were hunted, the priests, and they hung, drawn and quartered the priest. And this old woman, she hid the priest in her house, yeah? And you know what her punishment was? She was stripped, a rock was put on the floor, she was made to lay on the rock, a sheet of metal was put on her, and weights were piled on her till they crushed her. This is what happens when Christianity has control. This is why atheists have post-traumatic stress disorder, right? Because they know what Christianity did, what religion did to them in the past, and they never want to go back there. So as soon as religion is mentioned, straight away they're on it, yeah? But the reality is, Islam eradicates that nonsense. Yes.
Does it really?
Yes.
Well, we've got two branches of Islam fighting wars, fighting a cold war.
All right. We have branches of African tribes fighting each other over wars.
But that's politics, right?
So is the war.
It's primarily politics.
So are these proxy wars you're referring to in the Middle East?
Yeah, that's their proxy wars.
So look, I was talking about
and what I'll say is the jihadis always fight for Western foreign policy. They're tools of the West.
Right, what's your point? I don't get the point now. You've lost
In
me.
Bosnia, they fought on the side of the West. In Syria, they fought on the side of the
In
West.
Bosnia,
in Libya, they fought on the side of the West.
Sorry, in Bosnia what?
They fought on the side of the West. They were fighting the Serbians.
So who are the West? And Serbia's the West?
The West is basically Team America, isn't it? It's
So you're saying
it's the Gulf states, it's Pakistan, it's Turkey, it's Egypt, it's America, it's the US. It's
So you're
France,
saying the
it's Italy.
Bosnians were fighting for America?
They were fighting on the. They weren't fighting for America, but they were fighting the same enemy as the West was wanted them to fight.
So you're saying the Serbs were the enemy?
The Serbs were the enemy. Yeah. That's absolutely right. Can you not get me on camera?
And what's the point?
The point is really it's politics, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with religion.
And
What?
Christianities aren't supposed to fight.
but my point is
It
the
doesn't tell people to fight.
jihadis that are fighting over in the Middle East are fighting really alongside Western foreign policy, aren't they?
Well, it depends what jihadi is, because jihadis, you have
I'm
jihadis.
talking about Salafi jihadis who are.
Well, I wouldn't even say Salafi has jihadis.
I know. That's a disputed term. And
No. Yeah, of course it is. Well, if you're saying people who do things outside of the name of outside of Islam in the name of Islam, yeah. So, Christians will claim that the Crusades were nothing to do with Jesus.
But they absolutely
Atheists will claim Hitler had nothing to do with Darwin.
Yes. What? That's.
Atheists will claim slavery had nothing to do with Darwin. Oh, really?
But they really.
What did Darwin say about
really
black?
do believe
Remind
that
me what Darwin said about black people.
I know what he said about black people.
What did he say about them?
When the savage tribes are civilized, they still come together.
Now, what did he say about them? Did he say that they were a different evolutionary branch and that they'll be extinct? No?
No.
Really? You read his book, Origin of Species?
Never said that. I think it's like that. Never said that.
Really?
He's closely anti-slavery.
Christianity slavery?
And he saw slavery.
Darwin?
He went to South America,
Darwin?
he saw slavery, and he hated it.
So you're saying Darwin didn't mention black people being a sub-evolutionary chain? Really?
Darwin hated slavery.
Huh?
Darwin hated slavery. That's interesting.
Yeah. He said Darwin hated slavery. Where'd you get that from?
But I think above all, you know what a lot of us need to do and reflect upon? Christians and Muslims and Jews.
You're an atheist, aren't you?
Are you an atheist or a Christian?
Atheist.
Oh, atheist, okay. Well, an atheist as well, right?
Hard atheist or soft
Yeah.
atheist? So you deny God exists?
Yeah, they don't believe in God at all.
You deny God exists, so?
You can't deny negative. You can't prove a negative. So you can't deny.
So you don't deny God exists? You just don't believe God exists?
You can't prove a negative.
But do you believe that there is a
I can't see any
possibility?
reason.
Do you think there's no possibility?
So there is no
So I
God.
can't see any reason for take the existence of a God seriously. I can't see any reason to take it seriously.
You can't see any reason to believe in an uncaused cause of everything that exists?
That's not God.
No.
Uncaused cause is not necessarily.
Do you believe in an uncaused cause?
I don't know what. Nobody knows why the universe exists. But look at this one. If God can just exist.
I didn't ask why, I said how.
Hold on, listen. If God can just exist uncaused, then something can exist uncaused. If something can exist uncaused, you don't need God.
No, but it's a big
No, but the
difference.
qualities of something existing uncaused are far superior to anything that we know. Would you accept if something is uncaused, it's all powerful?
No,
No, it's not.
it's just cause. It's like a spark. It might be a spark. That's all it is.
No. Something uncaused means it's always existed, isn't it?
Okay, it's eternal.
Right.
That doesn't mean anything.
So what name do you give to that?
Uncaused.
Uncaused what?
It's just something.
It's an uncaused cause, yes?
Okay, uncaused cause.
Right, and I agree with you that the cause of the universe is an uncaused cause.
Well, maybe you don't know what it is.
Well, you just agreed with me.
But I think,
You don't actually know.
I think the difference of opinion
You
here
don't
is
know
that
why
you
the
believe
universe
that you believe that the uncaused cause.
Unknown.
You believe that the
It's
uncaused.
unknown. We don't know it.
Okay,
No.
but your belief is that the uncaused cause doesn't need to be intelligent,
No.
doesn't need to fashion or design or create, but it just does it somehow,
Just be a spark.
just with a spark.
Where did mathematics come from?
Where does God come from?
No, okay.
God just exists.
But
No,
I'm
you-
but I'm
Shall I explain? What's your name, my friend? What's your name, my friend? Chris.
You want to believe that God can exist uncaused?
Let me explain your.
Without explanation.
Can I explain your
But at the
confusion?
same time, you don't want to think the universe can exist
Can I
uncaused.
explain your confusion?
That's a contradiction.
All right. Can I explain your confusion?
There isn't one.
I'll tell you why there is.
Yeah.
I'll explain it. You're trying to use science to understand everything. That's your problem.
Yes.
I'll explain your problem. You can laugh while I explain your problem. Okay, because you're using science, the philosophy of science, to understand things, you're using the assumption of naturalism.
Okay.
That everything has a natural explanation.
Okay.
Right. So when you're asked what caused the universe, you'll say you don't know. Right. And when you say you don't know, what you're really saying is we don't know of any natural explanation. Therefore, we'll say don't know. Right. Maybe I have faith in science for 100 years' time. They'll know. But right now you don't know because your premise is the assumption that it has to have a natural explanation. Right. Now, the problem you have is this: we know that everything that exists, begins to exist, requires a cause, isn't it?
Okay. As far as you know.
From what we know, yeah. So, and do you accept that the universe began to exist?
Somehow,
right, and so therefore it required a cause.
Okay.
And so this cause needs to be uncaused.
Okay.
Because otherwise it requires a cause, and it requires a cause, and then you have infinite regression, and then we'll never have a universe. No, you say you don't know because you don't have a natural explanation. Because there is no natural explanation.
Okay.
And something that doesn't have a natural explanation that we're not aware of, and from what we're looking at, something from nothing, life from a sterile universe, what we're looking at requires supernatural cause.
No.
Oh, can you name anything in the natural law that can cause the universe?
Supernatural is a made-up word that's meaningless.
Do you understand what supernatural means?
It's a natural thing. It's something exists.
No,
it's natural.
No, do you know what supernatural? Do you know what supernatural means?
It's just natural.
No, do you know what supernatural means?
It's a made-up nonsense.
No, do you know what it means or not?
It doesn't mean anything.
It means
it's a
other
word
than
thrown
natural,
around.
right? Above natural.
Basically, it means something, a phenomenon that cannot be explained by natural law.
Yeah.
All right. And there's nothing within.
There's nothing.
Right. Which means, so therefore, by definition, there's nothing that can, using natural law, can explain the cause of the universe. Because the natural law was created with the cause of the universe.
We don't know that yet.
Yeah, it didn't exist before the universe. So therefore.
Okay, so all you're saying is outside of this universe, this law.
No. What I'm saying is
something else.
No. What I'm saying. No. What I'm saying is there's nothing we know of.
It's still something.
No. What we're saying is
supernatural is still something.
No, Chris, well, the issue here is
it's
this.
still something.
Chris, the issue here is this.
It's something.
Chris, listen. The issue here is this.
No. It's something.
No, hold on a second. What I'm saying is that
you want to make the God
there are two.
exist.
No one's saying that.
Chris,
no one's saying that.
Chris,
what we're saying is this.
But Chris, look, Hamza's point is very valid, which is that everything.
Bad logic.
No, but hold on a second. Look,
Bad logic.
Chris, if it was anything else, trust me. When we see a consistent rule happening every time, cause and effect. If it was, hold on a second. Hold on. Chris, hold on. Please, just let me make my point.
Breaks the rule.
Chris, let me make my point. If it was anything in life to convince us of an event, of its likelihood to be true, we would base that upon, what we see, what we experiment, and if we see something consistently happening, why is it that hold on a second. Why is it
your answer fails?
Please, Chris. Why is it that when it comes to the question of God or creation, all of that reasoning, analysis, observation, everything is thrown out of the window? Now, the question that you need to ask yourself is this: if it wasn't God that we were talking about, and something of a material source, let's say, I don't think, honestly, humbly, I would say, you'd have any problem accepting it. You know why? Because you'd say, look, it's logical. It's always happening this way. So it's likely to have happened that way when the universe came into being. But the problem is, I think people are so hell-bent because they've already made up their mind that there isn't a God, there isn't a creator, that regardless of what we see or what we view or how consistent it is, the arguments are thrown out of the window. And that's the question that we need to ask ourselves and really ponder on deeply and think about philosophically. That am I denying this because I just want to deny it?
No, denying it's just bad.
Or am I denying it because actually, you know what? It breaks down on so many different arguments, and the reality is that it doesn't.
It breaks down the argument that God is a something.
You're going to say there's something. All right.
The supernatural.
Let's
still a
all right.
something.
Here's the funny thing, Chris. Here's the amazing thing you see, Chris. Here's the thing you ought to understand. You've mentioned God more than I. I've not mentioned God. All right. What I said is this: for the universe to exist, the way it
We
exists.
don't know what it exists.
No.
And saying God's done it is
Which
cheating.
universe?
Okay.
It's intellectually lazy.
Okay. I didn't say God did it, did I?
You do.
I didn't.
You do believe it.
I didn't say it, did I? So please don't straw man me and present illogical fallacies. Logical fallacies I never said. All right. If you want to speak with me, respond to what I say.
What's the point then?
All right. Well, there's no point you responding to someone else's argument because they're not here to defend themselves whether they said that thing or not. I'm saying to you, yeah, that I believe that this universe requires an uncaused cause, and you accept that.
Okay, right.
Right.
I don't accept that.
You do accept that.
Yeah. It might, you never know. It might be some weird physics which is totally beyond my comprehension. But
whatever that cause is, whatever that physics discovers, whatever it is, it has to be uncaused, or you have the problem of infinite regression,
Okay, let's go with
which
that one.
cannot be solved. So therefore, you need a start point. Therefore, the first cause of everything has to be uncaused.
Okay,
Yes?
let's go with this uncaused.
Right. Now we know for something to be uncaused is against naturalism. All principles of it. Yeah?
On this universe anyway.
For anything to exist,
Let's accept that.
if we accept anything that
There's a
universe.
disparity.
no. So now the situation here is this.
So the science sees the universe as this universe rather than the entirety of space.
No.
don't know any-
No. When I say universe,
Science.
I'm referring to the entirety of space. Yes. All right. So if the uncaused cause of that, anything uncaused is against the natural law.
As you know.
Because everything we know about naturalism is it requires a cause. So if something doesn't require a cause, that's against naturalism. All right? So as it stands right now, we have a situation where we have something that is uncaused that caused everything, yeah? Now I take that a step further. I don't say God. I say this cause has to be pretty powerful.
No.
Has to be.
No.
More powerful than anything we can imagine.
No.
Really?
No.
So name something that's capable of causing the universe. Name something powerful.
A chain reaction.
All right. This is your.
Hold on, where does the spark come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Support.
Where does God come from?
All right.
Sorry?
Where does God come from?
No, let's deal with your argument first.
The problem is you always
No,
end up with problem.
No, we
Let's
don't.
deal with your argument.
No, we
Lazy
don't.
answer.
No, I haven't mentioned God.
Yes, you have.
I have.
You think the spark is not
I haven't
lazy?
mentioned God.
I mean, it's powerful.
I haven't mentioned God.
Because you always come.
I haven't mentioned God.
You're making conclusions.
I haven't mentioned God. Did I mention God? I didn't mention God.
Unbelievably powerful.
Did I
force.
mention God?
That's what you mean.
Did
by
I
God.
mention God?
And it's wrong.
Did I mention
and
God?
You're wrong.
Chris, did I mention God?
That's where you're going.
Did I mention it?
That's where you're
No,
going.
but Chris believes in science, right?
No, but Chris, did I mention?
but
please,
does science talk about this spark?
Look, let's
I'm
forget.
ahead of you,
We'll
that's
come to
why.
the spark. We'll come to the
I'm so far
spark.
ahead of you. I
We'll
know
come to the
this
spark.
argument. I'm 10 minutes
Okay.
ahead of you.
Did I mention God?
Dawkins in his book called Professor Hawkins, the universe created
Did
by a
I
spark.
mention
You were
God?
going there.
He doesn't say that, does he? I don't think he does.
Have I
No, he
mentioned
doesn't.
God?
Okay, no, let's see that. Let's see how long it takes you to get to God.
Have I mentioned God?
Let's see how long it takes you to get
So
there.
this is quite. I'm surprised actually because your attitude is really arrogant and actually not actually in terms
Because
of.
I know this argument.
You're not
This
even
is not
let me finish
a
a
new
sentence. I mean, that's an
argument.
example.
Oh, you've just confirmed his arrogance claim.
What I'm trying to say to you is, I mean,
Have we spoke before?
I'll give you the thing. The whole.
Sometime.
If you really want to understand the position.
I understand the position.
No, whether you accept it or not, I don't mind.
So the thing that
But I
you're
want to
saying
see
that-
where it's illogical.
The
I want you
idea
to show
that-
me where the logic comes in.
the idea that the
You're
energy.
you have something we don't.
No. You don't give
Oh,
me.
no.
Chris. You
That's
can't.
what you don't
You can
know.
only if you want to give your
you're
subjective
sort of saying
opinion.
this has to be this,
listen,
it has
listen,
to be that, has to be
listen,
that.
listen to me. If you want to give your subjective opinion on what I believe and why, right? That's your subjective opinion. Yeah, that's fine. But don't mention logic, mate, because that's objective. So you have to show me which law of logic I've broken for it to be illogical. Would you agree?
Okay. You're making unsupported conclusions.
Well,
When
So,
you
Imran,
say
sorry, what were you
the
saying?
uncaused
What
cause
were you
has to
saying,
be
Imran?
incredibly powerful, that's an unsupported conclusion.
okay. So do you accept that whatever causes universe, whatever force causes universe, has to be pretty powerful to do it?
No.
It has to have an energy or
come on.
matter equal to the universe or greater, because it
We
could.
don't know what the condition
No,
could cause
you're
was.
not hearing my
No.
point. No, you're
Listen,
hearing my
listen.
point.
No, you don't.
The
We
energy,
go so far back.
the energy
then we get
required.
stuck.
Listen,
The
listen.
energy
Yes,
required.
yes,
Very
amazing.
basic point.
It's mind-
Conservation
it's
of energy.
mind-blowing.
You believe in conservation of energy or
Yes.
not? Okay.
It's
So
mind-blowing.
therefore, if there's conservation of energy, whatever energy was in the universe at the point of creation, whatever caused that would have to generate that energy or more. So what is that? The same energy as if you turned all the matter in the universe into energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a nuclear explosion is when you get a small amount of matter.
That's a lot of zeros.
I know. It's
a lot of
You
zeros.
fission
I fully
this
understand
you fission this
how
material,
mind-blowing
and a
this fantastic,
small
incredible
portion
is.
of that energy is converted into matter is converted into energy, and you get a nuclear explosion. From a couple of atoms now.
We don't know
Now, the very
if that was necessary.
you have to understand. You're not even hearing my point. That you have to understand that the energy required to create that universe or to start that matter off would have been equal to the energy in the universe, energy or matter in the universe, or greater. And because you've already accepted that the cause was outside of the universe, it couldn't be the universe that created itself. You don't accept that the cause of the universe was outside.
It's a don't know. It's an unknown.
What's an
It's an
unknown?
unknown. You can only go so far back.
Okay, so
then
let me
we
ask you a very
You
specific
just said
question.
the universe had a beginning.
Was there
Give us the Big Bang.
So let me give you a specific
And then
question,
from then on,
so I can understand that we're on the same page.
We're guessing from then.
So here's a specific question: was there a
Not the
circumstance
entirety of space.
in which there was no universe?
We don't know.
You learned something here.
We don't know. We actually don't know.
No, but he's talking about this universe.
So was there a
The problem
circumstance?
is, that's fine.
No.
We go- we
You're
go back to
confused
Big
with
Bang.
solar system and universe.
And at that point, we're stuck. We can't get
So
further
then
back.
you suspend all your mind
So
and your
that-
thoughts.
We
Is that the
fast
position you're
go
holding?
so far back and we get stuck.
We get stuck.
We don't know what goes on before that.
Okay.
There's also before that.
Okay.
So there's a big mystery here. About
There
what
is no
caused-
mystery
what
here.
caused- no,
What-
big mystery.
this is the point.
Yes, there is. There's a mystery.
You're in the mystery?
You sound like a Christian, mate.
Absolutely.
Explaining the Trinity.
The point here
Mysteries,
is
my son.
if
You
you
believe. Just believe it. Just believe in the mystery. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Mystery is, my whole point comes down to, you're saying, you end up saying, eventually will say, you will eventually
No,
say.
listen, Chris.
Hold on,
God's done it.
let him speak.
To me, that's not.
I've never
that's
said
not
God
an
did
answer.
it.
It's a lazy answer.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. You're saying that if we say God done it, it's a lazy answer. I'm hearing that. That's not what we're saying.
This is.
And this is what you're insisting.
No, we're not saying it.
Okay, big
I haven't said
mystery.
it.
I'm not saying you said big mystery. I don't agree that there's a mystery.
Huh?
You don't have the answer.
Have I mentioned God?
You have the lazy answer.
No, you
No,
haven't
we don't have a lazy
actually,
answer.
I'm very careful not
Do
to
you
mention
use
God.
rationality to come to
When
any
I speak to an
conclusion?
atheist,
Okay. Are they valid or invalid conclusions?
They're valid.
Okay.
The valid conclusion is you don't know the answer.
No. See again. It seems like you just want to say that. Okay. You've said
It's
it.
the answer. We don't know. We don't know.
So you
That's
don't
valid.
use.
You don't make something up. You don't know.
Who's saying we're making something up?
Yes. God is a made-up answer to explain the universe.
It's not. We're not making that. This is not science of God, there are gaps. We're not doing that at all. We're
not.
asking to use your rationality. Okay, let's get down to basics then. I want you to evidence to me, provide evidence that your rationality is a reliable tool to use to make any conclusions. As a first basis, please do that.
All right. First of all, there's loads of religions in the world.
No,
no, you missed the point. You missed the point.
I want you to provide me evidence that your
No,
rationality
but
is. No. Hear what I'm saying. I hear the question before you answer it.
There's no.
Hear the question before you answer it. I want you to provide me some evidence that your rationality is a reasonable or an accurate tool to use to make conclusions.
If you don't know the cause of the universe,
But that's your
it
rationality.
does not have to be a God.
No, that's not what I've asked you.
That's
think that-
rational.
No.
You're not
That
hearing
is.
Oh, you hear the question? Hear the
An
question?
unknown cause is unknown.
No, you're not hearing his
no,
question.
no,
Listen
you're
to the
not
question.
Oh, it's
You're
not.
not answering
We're questioning your method you're using to understand things.
I want you
Look at
to.
this. We get to say time. We can't
No,
get
No,
beyond that.
no,
We
no, no,
can't
no.
know beyond
Chris. What we're doing is this. Sorry,
that. We
forgive
can't know.
me.
We can't know.
Chris. What he's asking you now is the method you're using to come to that conclusion. We want you to qualify that method. That's what we're asking to. Forget the conclusion from it. Want to know why we should accept that method.
If there are potentially many unknown answers, and you
You don't understand the
You
question.
haven't understood
You don't
the
understand the question.
So let me rephrase it. Yeah. I'm assuming that you believe that everything on the universe, including matter, biology as well, has evolved. Yeah. So your rationality, your ability to reason, is an evolutionary process. Yeah. Tell me why that can lead you to truth. Explain to me in any way that what you're thinking is a reliable method to attain any sort of truth about the world.
okay, 1 + 1 = 2. That's easy to prove. From arithmetic, basic logic. It's not that hard.
So you
The
haven't.
more complicated it gets, the harder it is to justify it. But this is basic logic. If you have an unknown cause to the universe,
You're
it's
not answering the
unknown.
question.
That's my logic. It's
you're-
unknown.
Is your logic reliable? Is
So
what
you're
I'm
now
asking
trying to. Religious people want to believe there was a God.
you. No.
Oh,
Yes, they do.
please. You've got to leave
you
the straw
don't
man at
have-
home. You keep talking
It's
about
not a
logic.
straw man.
It is.
It's not a straw
Because
man.
no one here has mentioned God. And you've mentioned it more than anyone, and you're the atheist.
Because that's where you're going to.
No, but that's a straw man argument because we've not gone there.
You will do.
Well, we haven't. You're responding to an argument we've not made.
Why are you afraid of that?
Do you know what a straw man is, isn't it?
Because you keep making a straw man.
Right, it's a logical fallacy of responding to an argument that's not been made.
Chris, can I ask you?
Well, we haven't made that argument.
Chris,
we haven't.
Chris, can I ask you something? Were you ever religious in your life before? Never. I mean, has something happened in your life with religion or in contact with religion that made you so averse to even hearing discussions? Because I feel you're a nice guy. I think you're a nice guy. But what it is, Chris, that you've been asked some very, very simple, fundamental questions, but you're actually not answering them. So I'm wondering whether that's because you have already made up your mind, so you're not willing to even reason or analysis.
I've read the Bible twice. I've read the Quran twice. I've thought about religion since I was 7 years old.
Right.
And my one basic argument I had against religion when I was 7 years old is there was why are there so many religions? To me, that is all religions.
Take care, my friend. I hope you learned something today.
Let me ask you a question, right? You're saying...
Who's the intellectual?
You're saying that basically God does not exist, right? Okay. And then you say, we just don't know what happened before the universe. Okay, so if you don't know, then clearly it could be that there was a God that created the universe because you don't know, right?
That's one possible.
Well, that's logical.
Okay, that's logical, right? So what I'm saying to you, Chris, is this, and what Imran is saying and Hamza is saying is this, is that at least don't cross out that possibility in its entirety definitively. And not even consider it, because that would be a little bit disingenuous, because you've admitted now that because you don't know, clearly there is a possibility, and even Dawkins says that, yes, of course, he might say 99.9% atheist, but he says as a scientist, unless you have had infinite observations and experiments done, you can't come to a definitive in terms of anything, right? So you would have to accept that because you don't know, there is a possibility that there could be a creator.
Okay.
Right, now, all we're saying to you, Chris, is that at least because there is that possibility, look at the arguments and then make a judgment as to, is that a valid possibility? Is that quite a significant possibility? Is it quite a probable possibility? And when we look at how things work, consistently throughout the universe, everything we see around us, if we look at it, it actually points towards the very thing that we're saying happened, which is that it was caused, right?
By something.
Now, what you're saying is that, no, and if we look at both of our arguments, I would suggest humbly that the person who molds his argument in a consistent approach is probably more likely actually to find truth than the one who goes in the opposite direction. Would you agree with that? So, for example, if there were thousands of experiments done, say for argument's sake, for say sugar, I mention this point quite often, and if after thousands of those experiments it says sugar is actually, refined sugars are harmful, it damages your body, etc., etc., and then you have one ulterior argument to that, somebody comes on the internet and says, actually, no, it's good for you, you should have lots of sugar. Now, we wouldn't accept that argument because it goes against consistent, very strong evidence that we've seen all the way through. We wouldn't go against that by just one little argument on the opposite side, because clearly it's a very weighty argument to believe that it is damaging, right? Now, similarly, if we see throughout history, throughout experimentation, throughout the most renowned and profound, science that we have today, that everything seems to have a cause, then is it not logical to assume that the universe also must have had a cause?
He accepts that cause.
No, you understand my point? And therefore that opens a possibility. No, but listen, and then that opens the possibility of something, like Hamza said, that always existed and that gave birth to this universe. It's not illogical to come to that conclusion, is it?
The problem is, the cause, if there's a cause, is a cause. It doesn't have to be a God.
No,
That's the problem.
no.
But is it illogical? Is it illogical to assume that it is?
No.
It's not illogical, is
it illogical for me to? This is what you're saying to me. Listen to me. You're saying it's illogical for me to believe that this universe was caused by an uncaused cause, and that this cause requires to be intelligent and all-powerful. You're now saying that's illogical, right? No.
Is it illogical?
No, but I want to know which law of logic do you believe I've broken by making that claim and that belief?
You're basically saying the universe needs a cause, but God doesn't.
No, I'm saying no.
Powerful,
I didn't
incredibly intelligent.
I didn't mention God.
You did.
I didn't mention God.
He said the cause.
I didn't mention God, my friend.
Intelligent, powerful universe.
I didn't mention God.
It's God.
But is that an illogical belief?
Yeah.
Why?
Where does this intelligence come from? Where does this power?
No, that's not.
No.
You can't defeat. No, but you can't trash that. You can't trash the principle.
God can exist.
Do you accept?
You can't.
Listen. Do you accept?
Something can exist.
Do you accept? Do you accept the cause of the universe is uncaused?
I don't know what the cause is.
You say do you accept it's uncaused?
Okay, let's go with uncaused.
Do you accept that?
Okay, let's accept that.
All right. So so whatever cause of the universe is uncaused, whatever attributes that cause has, it has, because it's always existed. Yeah.
So what Hamza's saying is, if something was uncaused, as you agreed, the cause of the universe would be, what attributes would it have to be
the cause? To be the cause.
It could just be a spark.
No.
You have to
just be a spark.
You could do it. Are sparks?
There could be no time before
Are sparks internally existing?
Do they generate without anything else?
Are sparks?
Do sparks require a cause?
You don't know.
Do sparks require a cause?
You want us to believe God just exists.
No. You make
yes.
Chris. We're going to drill. Let's drill down into your claim. You said a spark could cause the universe. Yeah. Is that spark caused or uncaused?
I say this is uncaused.
Do you know of any spark that's uncaused?
Outside this universe, no. Outside of it, maybe.
All right. So is a spark? Is a spark the
but
consequence?
You want to believe something?
No. Is a spark?
Something can cause the universe.
Chris. Is a spark the consequence of an effect? Is the effect of a cause?
That's what a spark is.
What is a spark?
I don't know.
What is a spark?
It's before the universe.
No. But what is a spark?
It's an unknown spark.
Does a spark need to be? Does a spark need to be caused?
It's a supernatural spark.
Does a spark need to be caused?
We don't know, do we?
No, does it? Logically, does it?
Okay, the supernatural spark. Hold on. The supernatural spark. Does it have immense power?
Doesn't need it. Just needs. It's like dominoes.
So you think?
Can a domino knock it? 1 second. Can a domino knock itself over?
Maybe it can.
So can it?
So hold on. You think a little spark?
It's in motion.
Hold on a second.
Reaction.
Hold on a second.
The results in a big bang.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
A little spark creates trillions and trillions of stars, billions of galaxies.
Nice.
Hold on a second. From a little spark, and you're telling us that we're illogical and irrational? I mean, come on, Chris.
We don't know yet.
But Chris, I mean, look, we could, if we're going to apply these type of arguments, we could say the pixie did it.
All right, let's do this
right?
way.
Let's try different argument. What I'm trying to say to you, Chris, is
let's drill down it. I want the spark. I want the spark, mate. I want the spark on the wall.
Energy.
I want it next to my moose head.
Has always existed, eternally.
Oh, when I change your premise.
Hold on, it's energy.
What
yes.
we have.
Yes.
It's a cyclic universe.
Yes.
It comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. It's been for eternity.
Do you believe that?
No, it doesn't. The point is, more than one could.
No, I know. But Chris,
it's more than one solution.
But Chris,
there's thousands of possible solutions.
Chris,
you don't know the answer.
Let's deal with the spark. What caused the spark?
Nothing. It's uncaused. You silly idiot.
How can a spark be uncaused?
Is a spark intelligent?
No.
It's not intelligent.
It needs to be.
Does it have power? Does it have power to design, to create? No. So, do you know anything that's created by?
Supernatural.
Do you know anything that's created by a spark that's uncaused that can create things? Do you know anything? Like
the universe.
And where do you get this logic from? That there's a spark that's uncaused. There's nowhere in the universe.
Chris,
can you show me?
Chris, you know what? Chris, what I'm going to do?
No, but Chris, what you're doing is what you're doing now. What you're doing now? You're special pleading now. Yeah, you're using the logic of yes, you are. No, Chris, what you're doing is now. Here's the problem. Here's another logical fallacy. Now you're bringing in special pleading. Why? Because you know there's nowhere does a spark cause itself. You know it's a result of friction or something between something else. But when it comes to the universe, you make up a magical spark. Yeah, that's special pleading, mate. That's special pleading, mate. Can you prove this? Can you prove this spark?
No.
Why do you believe it?
I don't believe it. It's a possibility.
Why do you believe it's a possibility?
Because you don't know. It's unknown.
Is there a
but there's no such thing as a
possibility for a god or a creator?
trying to fit it in.
It's possible.
It's possible. So why would you rather believe
Yeah,
a
science of the
spark
gaps.
rather
Spark
than
of the
a
gaps.
God?
Because of religion.
Okay, so that's very honest of you.
Spark of the gaps.
That's very honest of him. Look, that's very honest of him. What he's saying is that he doesn't necessarily have a problem with God, but he's got a problem with the religion. How religion is.
Well, I do have a problem with God as well.
No, but why?
I see God as unnecessary.
Well, you see that.
No.
Chris, whether it's necessary or unnecessary, the fact is you've accepted the possibility of it.
Well, here's what you've got to respond to, yeah? Once you acknowledge that my belief that the cause of the universe is uncaused and by necessity needs to be more powerful than anything we can imagine and has to be intelligent for the way everything has been designed, yeah, that is not illogical, my friend.
It is.
It's not.
Because
and
God is more incredible.
That's the first thing. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. Okay.
You have to believe that something exists.
Now, if you want to talk about religion, 1 second. Now, if you want to talk about religion, now you're talking about perceptions of this creator. That's a different story. Now, I haven't always been a Muslim. All right, I used to be just like you. Yeah, but I used my brain a little bit when I was questioned.
I read the Quran. So.
No, I never read the Quran. Listen to me, Chris. Listen. I became a believer in an uncaused cause of all that exists without ever meeting religion in that sense, without reading the Quran, without this, without that. I came to the natural conclusion, that logical conclusion, that whatever caused this universe has to be more powerful than anything we know. Because if we wasn't, listen to me. If it wasn't more powerful, listen to me. If it wasn't more powerful than anything we know, you should present something that we do know that's capable.
Explain it sounds something that powerful. It just exists uncaused.
But you've just conceded the spark is uncaused.
The spark is simple.
You believe in an uncaused spark.
A simple spark.
An uncaused spark.
Exists simple.
Uncaused spark. Listen to the term. Uncaused spark.
Ever heard of quantum fluctuation?
Now we've got quantum fluctuation. Now you've gone to another level, man.
That's what things just put that out.
So you're saying to me now...
Within the universe.
Yeah.
You're talking about pre-universe.
That side. Maybe outside of the universe. Can have an
No. So you're saying there was an uncaused spark of all that exists.
Something starts to change.
And you think...
the chain reaction that caused the universe.
Right.
But Chris, do you accept
uncaused spark?
If you apply that type of argument,
you
Chris,
believe uncaused.
I'll tell you why not.
You believe uncaused things.
I'll tell you why not.
You believe
I'll tell you why not.
uncaused.
I'll tell you why not.
I'm quite happy with that.
Because a spark is a result of something. Hitting metal, hitting concrete or something. A spark is caused by something.
How do you know?
A spark, because we know. Can you name any spark?
Uncaused spark. You believe in uncaused things.
So you believe in a magical uncaused spark?
Why not?
Why not? Why should I believe in an uncaused spark when a spark is a result of two things colliding or rubbing against each other? You need things to create a spark. A spark does not create itself.
Because your definition of a spark.
What?
No, but Chris,
Chris, that's
humbly,
unbelievable,
what I would
man.
say to you is this, Chris, you've got to appreciate that if you apply that type of argument, hold on a second, just please hear me out, right? If you apply that type of an argument, then we could deny anything. We could even deny our own reality now here. You could deny absolutely everything. You can deny that tree exists, that sun exists. No. You could just say that
actually, no, because
you don't know.
Accept this reality.
No, because that's exactly.
Why do you accept reality?
Because I can feel it.
Okay, when I dream, it feels real.
Yeah.
No.
Dreams are actually real. They're actually playing.
No, but Chris,
they're not real. They're not real. Dreams are real.
No,
sorry. No, sorry.
Brain activity is real.
No. Is a dream real? Sorry. I have to say this. Is a dream real?
It's actually a real thing in your head.
Is it
real electrons?
How do you understand the term real?
Creating illusion. So
is a dream real or an illusion?
It's like a TV film.
Is a TV film real or an illusion?
The cellulotape of a TV film is real.
Right. When I dream, listen to me. When I dream,
chemicals
Chris.
All that's around your head is real.
When I dream,
it's actually a real thing.
Chris.
It's a delusion.
How do you distinguish between your dreams and the real and reality? In the middle. How do you distinguish between your dreams and what's not?
It could be a problem, yeah.
You can't distinguish.
It can be a problem.
Yeah. So you don't know actually if you're dreaming now, for example.
Could be. This is useless hypothesis.
I'm going to tell you a very quick story. Very quick one. It's quite funny actually.